Don in London, hello. October the 18th, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance, alcohol, my behaviour, trying to be perfect, never so, gap inside, fearful often, and trying to overcome it. And what helped me along the way to overcome my fear, put on a brave face and utilise ego sometimes because self-esteem was lacking, was alcohol. So alcohol helped me be joyful, convivial, sad. It got to me, made me dependent, or rather I became dependent on it. It was me, it was always me. And not knowing what the world as it is, and not knowing how to cope too well. So part of my coping strategy, if you like, was to drink. And I was not alone. In the decades of my drinking, it was seen as a good thing to do. Big strong men can drink lots of alcohol, and we were considered part of the scene if we could. So all working for drinking and nothing against it. But do you know what? It did get me in the end, and I became a 24/7 addicted drinker. So these days I try not to drink on a daily basis. In fact, I don't drink on a daily basis. So far, so good, and this has been for some while now. And I cannot say I did it on my own. In fact, my moment of clarity was knowing that I could not do this on my own, and that addiction is something I cannot beat. It's not something I can do with my willpower. And it took me a long time to understand that self-will run riot, or obsession about to drink or not to drink, was actually driving me more and more insane. So sanity comes back one day at a time, or a little bit more sanity, a little bit more of understanding who I am on a daily basis. And what helps me more than anything to keep sober so the rest of my life can work is a fellowship, and that fellowship is Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't speak for it, never can, never will. It's full of unique, authentic people. And the gift of unique, authentic people is they are all learning wisdom a day at a time through experience, and then finding strength and hope to keep on being sober. So there's a preamble which we share at the beginning of meetings, which I attend regularly, hopefully every day, because simply 1 hour out of my day is better than 24/7 drinking. So which option would I choose? Well, I choose today to be sober and work to that aim. So I go to meetings, and at every meeting this preamble or statement of intent is shared, and I share it here because it's part of my daily reflection on what's working for me. And here it goes. For unique, authentic people like me. That's good. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is the desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So a fellowship with a primary purpose, which is to help people stay sober, not be involved in outside issues, and not get stuck in something else which will get in the way of sobriety. And what we all learn is, if we put sober first, the rest of life can work. So we find our emotional, spiritual and physical balance as best we can. It doesn't arrest the problem of living longer, because as we live longer we still get all the other complaints and ailments that are open to everyone on the planet. So we don't have a shield against ordinary maladies, but we develop an understanding of how to stay sober, so we may get them or not get them by keeping as well as we can. So the benefit, if you like, of sobriety is to live one day as well as we can. And what helps me, not only going to meetings, is sharing the readings of AA, some from Daily Reflections, this book, and some from As Bill Sees It, this book. And it's like one a day. And October is all about step 10 of the 12-step program in this one, Daily Reflections. So And it's all about taking an inventory when necessary to understand where we are. So if things are going well, do an inventory to find out why they're going well, what's going on. If they're not going so well, take an inventory to see what our part in it is. Is it down to us that things don't seem right, or is it down to something outside us? And if it's outside us, we're probably powerless over it, but we can make a choice about what we do. And in this book here, the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, I bought a nice big one because I've been helping somebody, and it's also easier to read from. And there's a chapter on each step and a chapter on each of the traditions. Steps are about changing our attitude and behaviour so we behave more consistently with our values of being open, honest and willing to live sober lives and be a part of and be included. And then the 12 traditions of the fellowship are about unity, service and recovery, hoping and helping that the fellowship keeps well as a body, if you like, in which we all sit, and we are all part of it, and we have a responsibility for helping to make sure that the fellowship is kept safe. And one of those things is about anonymity being the sanctuary to find our truth. So for me, truth I learn on a daily basis because I can get dishonest very, very quickly. But in the Step 10 chapter, towards the end, it says here, and I'll read it out, but in other instances only the closest scrutiny will reveal what our true motives were. There are cases where our ancient enemy, rationalization, has stepped in and has justified conduct which was really wrong. The temptation is to imagine that we had good motives and reasons when we really didn't. We constructively criticize someone who needed it when our real motive was to win a useless argument, or the person concerned not being present, we thought we were helping others to understand him, when in actuality our true motive was to feel superior by pulling them down. We sometimes hurt those we love because they need to be taught a lesson when we really want to punish. We were depressed and complained we felt bad, when in fact we were mainly asking for sympathy and attention. This odd trait of mind and emotion, this perverse wish to hide a bad motive underneath a good one, permeates human affairs from top to bottom. I won't go on for now, but it's about understanding our motives, and sometimes we're quite dishonest about it, because when we say I need to help you with something, it's, do I really need to help someone with something? Only if they ask me for my opinion, maybe. And I'm going on a bit. But anyway, coming to the daily reflections today, and it says here an open mind. True humility and an open mind can lead us to faith. And it says, or goes on to say, my alcoholic thinking led me to believe that I could control my drinking, but I couldn't. When I came to AA, I realised God, or good conscience, was speaking to me through my group. My mind was open just enough to know that I needed his help. A real honest acceptance of AA took more time, but with it came humility. I know how insane I was, and I am extremely grateful to have my sanity restored to me and to be a sober alcoholic. And for me it's only a day at a time. The new sober me is a much better person than I ever could have been without AA. Well, I'm alive long enough and on a daily basis to keep on working on that, because it's never ever going to stop being a daily reprieve for me. And I'm glad it's not a daily reprieve, because if I stop learning, what's the point? If I feel like I've come to the end and I'm now perfect, well, it will never happen. So progress and not perfection always. And I'm running short on time. But on page 232 of As Bill Sees It, there's a passage on the value of human will. And often willpower and self-obsession will take us to places like addiction, because we are still trying to rationalise and overcome something that we cannot overcome. And once we get to powerlessness, where we understand that, with true humility we need help on a daily basis to keep our sobriety, then we are into our choices of living as best we can. And what helps me always in acceptance is the serenity prayer to God or good conscience. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is just for today.